Hello friends, this is Cara-Renee with B.Reborn Art and Healing, coming to you with part 2 of our mixed media paper making series. This is the delicious textured mixed media paper, and in video 1 we went ahead and we texturized all of these papers. Let me show you these first. So these are the ones we texturized on camera. Some of them are on a printed paper. You'll notice that this one's got a pink tinge, and I think what was happening there is we're pulling out color out of the digital that we did this on. It's not a problem. It's all going to get colorized anyway, but that's my guess because this is pink and this is white, so I'm not sure. That's my only guess. So these are the ones that we did. These are the white ones, which I think are absolutely stunning. They have been drying for about 24 hours, so I'm just going to take a chance and just continue on. I've got the water boiling in the kitchen, so I'll go grab that here in a moment. I mentioned in video 1 that I completely forgot to use the U.S. Art Supply modeling paste that I mentioned, and so I did use it off camera. So all of these are done using the U.S. Art Supply paper. I just grabbed some things from my scrap bin because I thought, well, I want to show you, so better to just grab something and get it done so that we can I can show you the difference. It's just as crispy, to be honest with you. Mine is a little bit old, and so it was really thick. It's not normally that thick, so I probably need to replace that, but I like my kind anyway, but this one turned out really great as well. So these will all be grungified when we start doing some coffee dyeing. So I'm going to just take a moment really quick, and I'm going to go grab that water, and we're going to get this going. I feel like there's not quite enough coffee in here. I used about 1/4 of this jar, but I don't feel like it's enough. I like mine to be pretty dark, so I'm going to put a little more in. And so I will be right back. So I have this, it's like a rice spoon. We have 2 of them, so I've been using it for my crafting. So I've got that to do some stirring. So I'm going to move these papers just in case I drip, and I'm just going to get my water in here. I don't have a lot of pages. I am going to go ahead and use the excess and do some coffee dyeing of some lace that I have for a project, but I'm going to go ahead and just get going here. You do always want to check if you're using one of these aluminum pans. Make sure that it doesn't have a hole in it, because that would be a disaster and something that could happen to me. So I need to move my keyboard here. It's in the way of where we're putting stuff. So I am going to use my gloves because I don't like to get coffee all on my fingernails and under my fingernails. So I will be doing that here. And we do need to let this cool a little bit as well. So let me talk to you a little bit about what we're going to be doing later in the video. So we will be using golden fluid acrylics in various colors. Not as much, more transparent colors, but we're primarily going to be using our inks. So I've got my, I got Amsterdam, Daler Rowney, and Liquitex. So I'm not going to pull those out yet just because we're not ready for that, but we're going to be colorizing with that. So normally, just so you understand my normal process, I usually do big batches of mixed media paper, but because this is just a sampling, just for the purpose of the tutorial and to keep it not quite so complex, I'm only doing the papers that we did. Now, in my other process, I dip, I lay a stencil down. We're going to be using some stencils too. No, I'm probably not going to be using stencils because we already did the texturizing, but I usually will coffee dye, lay a stencil down, put some acrylic ink or some paint on it, kind of brush it around, and then I coffee dye another piece, set it on top of that. But what happens is if I switch colors, then I get one color variety on one side of the paper and another color variety on the other side. And sometimes they don't go together. And if you're going to be using them in a journal, it's nice to have them be the same color. So I'm going to try to stick with some similar tones and be a little bit more strategic. That will be easier because we don't have as many papers. Because part of the reason why I do that process is because I can just stack them on top of each other over here. I know you can't see my left hand going over, but I just flip them over and then I put the next paper on top of it. So because we don't have so many to do, we should be able to just lay these all out without putting them on each other. So you do want the coffee dye to pretty much dry completely. Otherwise, some of it's probably going to wash out anyway because it's coffee, but I like to let it set a little while. So there'll be probably maybe even another day in between the coffee dyeing, drying, and the next step, but it will all be in the same video for you guys. So let's go ahead and get going. I have a pretty high tolerance for heat, so you do want to be careful and make sure that you don't burn yourself, because that would not be good. I'm going to move these little papers out of the way. We'll come back to those in a moment when we get there. Another one. Okay, one more glove. I love doing mixed media paper. Really, really love it. I have a ton of it that I can't use though, really, because it's because the colors are so weird and some of the impressions were just not great. I might start sending some of that out in Happy Mail. Maybe somebody else will really like it. But I do use it, but not as much as I would if I really liked all of the images. So, so here we go. So we're going to start with the butterfly. So I'm just going to dip it in. Okay. And I'm hoping that heat is not going to just completely break up that texture piece. I don't think it will. But let's just go. Oh, look at that. Actually, we can do the inking at the same time. So I'm going to start setting these aside, and we might not do the drying process and just go right into texturizing. So, colorizing, excuse me. And I think we are just going to go directly in. Because I was thinking about when I do my normal coffee dye mixed media paper, I don't let the coffee dye dry before I colorize. I go right in with the color. So I'm not sure where my brain was. I have no excuses, you guys. I'm on vacation here, summer break, and my emergency with my sister and her roommate has died down. So I am going to go this afternoon with them to his post-op appointment, just because I want a chance to talk to the doctor, because they're going to be doing this again on the other hip, and I need that process to happen differently than it did for them this time. So and again, as I mentioned in video 1, you can do this with acrylic paints when you colorize, but you just want to keep in mind that you're probably not going to get the same results as me, because I'm going to be using transparent medium. So I'm going to be using transparent color of ink and paint. So it's going to give a different result than you'll get with a more traditional acrylic paint. So just be mindful of that. Okay. This is so cool. Oh, I love the roses. Look at this. I'm going to turn it around so it's not upside down. Look at that. Oh, I love this one. Look at that. So cool. Let's just get these out of the way and then we'll have more space. My coffee's taking up space, but I need my coffee, so I'm still drinking this morning. I'm in the last days of summer, literally. We're supposed to go camping and it's not even going to be that great of weather. It's going to be like in the 70s, which is hard for me when we're camping. I like it to be hot so I can get in the lake and and get myself washed up because, you know, we don't have running water, we don't have showers, we don't have bathrooms, we just have outhouses and all that fun stuff. So there we go. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go out of the room. I'm going to get this out of the way. That will give us a little bit more room here because I don't think I'm going to need it again. I might actually pour some into another container. So if we want to splatter some coffee, we will. So I'll be right back. Okay, while I was off camera, I did pull a bunch of stuff out. Oh, wrong color. I want the raw umber, not the Payne's Gray. And my fluid acrylic. Ooh, the sap green hue would work well, so we'll pull that out as well. So I've got sap green hue, very transparent. You can tell by that, the black lines. The raw umber isn't as transparent, but it's actually a great complement. So we're going to put those up there. My iridescent gold fine, I love. I've got muted pink from Liquitex. I have some Daler Rowney, but I prefer Liquitex in case you want my recommendation. This is sap green permanent. This is muted turquoise. That might be pretty. This is a gold acrylic ink. I think it might be dried up. Muted green. We've got a pink Amsterdam quinacridone rose. I'm going to try these high flow acrylics. They're really transparent as well. So for a yellow, that is super transparent, you guys, super transparent, as well as that transparent yellow iron oxide. I'm leaning towards keeping these a little bit more neutral, so you might not see me bringing out a lot of colors. But I did want to try this one. It's a yellow ochre, which is a really nice neutral color as well. We've got transparent brown iron oxide. That's a great color. And then we've got Daler Rowney, raw sienna, Daler Rowney indigo. I'm thinking I want to try some indigo, but we'll see. And muted violet. Oh, is that more than one muted violet? Thought I already did that one. Nope, muted pink. Okay, so there we go. So I'm going to grab my whites because sometimes, or just at least pull my drawer out there. So these ones we're going to do last, these smaller pages. In fact, I'm going to kind of stack them on top of each other so I can gain some room here. There we go. So I can move these inks a little bit over here so that I have more working room. I did pour some of that coffee mixture in a cup so that if we want to tap into that, we can, which means I probably need a brush as well. So let me grab a reasonably sized brush here. I want a really, really loose one. Let's grab this one. Okay. So let's do the butterfly. So you can see it's already just really saturated. Oh, excuse me. So I'm thinking I want to go with some yellows and browns on this one for some reason. So I think I want to try... I need to grab my water bottle as well, guys. I'm so sorry. This is not something I do very often. So I need to figure out what I did. Oh, there it is, right in front of my nose. Because sometimes this will dry too much in between and you want to make sure you can get the wetness back so that you can have things be absorbed. So let's go ahead and spray this. I'm going to move these there. I don't want them to get splattered by unknown colors. And I think I'm going to go in with the transparent brown oxide. Maybe we'll go blue with this one because the butterfly is so beautiful. Okay. So again, I'm just shaking really well. It's got a ball in there. Oh, wow. Very cool. So what we might do, I'm trying to think about my normal process and how I want to do that. That was a lot of ink, or a lot of, ink. So let's just spread that out. Let's find something that can go with it. How about some green? The sap green hue would be pretty, or sap green permanent, because it, I'm going to move the camera closer here, because it's a good transparent color, but it will be muted down by the brown. So let's try that. You cannot go wrong. Oh no. Ah! The dropper is quite plugged up here. So let's get a little bit more movement here. Oh yeah. And then you can also pick up your paper and move it around. We've got a lot of liquid here. That's okay. So what we're going to do is I'm going to grab this paper. This is just one of the small ones, and I'm just going to dip it and just use up some of that color. That's just fine right there. Okay, got a lot going on here, so I'm going to go ahead and just dab this up a little bit. And we're going to get a little bit more of that brown in. Okay. Or yeah, transparent. It's kind of an orangish brown. It reminds me of a burnt sienna, but it's a lot better. Okay, there we go. That was still a lot. Oh my goodness. So as you can see, we get a lot of water on here, so it does take a considerable amount of time to dry. But I am loving the saturation here. I feel like I want a little bit more color in here, but I'm not sure that I can get away with that very easily. So I'm just going to put a little bit more of the brown oxide in there. Look at that. Hope the camera is showing it accurately. It's going to be absolutely gorgeous. So the trouble is, and so what's going to happen is I'm not really going to get anything on the back of this, which is fine. We don't have to have something on the back and the front, because actually that is where I can get into trouble. I'm just dabbing that up because there's just puddles of water on the top of that paper. So I'm just off camera, just kind of doing that, just kind of dispersing that color into various places on the paper. Yeah, that's great. Okay, let's toss that paper towel. I need to bring over my cart so I have more paper towels. I always get tons of coffee and stuff everywhere in my studio. I left a drips along the way to the kitchen, so I'll have to deal with that later. So let's go ahead and do this one here. Yeah, let's do this one here. We might have some transferable color on this towel right now because it's very wet, but that's all right. So I want to use some pink here. I know my pink is not great, so I'm thinking, well, we're going to try it. Hey, maybe we should try the muted pink instead because it's an acrylic ink, and it's the Liquitex, so it's my preferred ink. It's not really a true pink. It's really interesting, but I think this is going to be gorgeous. Oh yes. Oh yes. I'm going to have to get more inks because mine are getting, I haven't bought new inks for quite a while. You can also use a pipette. So if you're using this kind of product and your little squeezy thing doesn't work, you can always use a pipette to get things moving. That is gorgeous. Oh my goodness. Feel like it would be good to come in with some browns again, but I'm not going to do that one. I'm going to use my raw umber. It looks like I didn't grab a raw umber acrylic ink, so let me see if I can find one in here. Should have one. Hopefully I have enough in here. So again, anytime you add a brown to a color, you're gonna be pushing back the vibrancy of the color that it's mixing with, which is actually quite pretty. I don't want this one to mix a lot, so I'm gonna try to be a little bit more careful. So pretty. I forgot about that muted pink. It's actually really a delightful color. So I'm going to use my fingers and I'm just going to kind of move this around because it's kind of sitting on the surface. And I don't necessarily want to get more water on there at this point. Oh, so pretty. These are going to be gorgeous. I love this texture. Pre-textured is really great. That's going to be absolutely amazing. Okay, so again, we're not really getting anything on the back, and if we do, it's going to be very limited because of what we've used so far. So I'm just going to move this over here, and boom, I'm going to grab a paper towel and I'm going to dab a little bit of that up because it's I don't need the puddles, so I apologize, I'm off camera here, but there's just like a big river of color of water here, so I'm just gonna get that up so that will help it dry a little bit better. Very good. Okay. I can't tell what color we have going on here. Let's see if it's just brown. Yeah, it's mostly brown, so that's good. Oh, I just got a bunch of paint on my on my shelf up there. Oh, okay, let's do this one. Let's do this one. Awesome. Okay, and the acrylic ink is permanent, so once it dries, it's not going anywhere. So if I wanted to go back and dip again into some coffee dye, I could, because it's not dry. It's not dry. I think I want to go in with some yellow, maybe some yellow and some muted turquoise. Let's just go wild on this one. This is fun. That's not really working out. Oh, is there very much in here? Okay, we're just gonna, let me grab a pipette. I think I have one right up here in my little carousel thing. I think I put some up here, but I do not see them. Okay, so let's get a brush instead. I really don't want to pour because I will actually lose a lot of this in the container, so. Oh, with that brown, it's actually, I might just leave this one just brown. We'll add some more water to this paper to get that to move around. Yeah. Okay, let's just set that there. Put that lid on. You do want to cap your stuff. I've spilled entire bottles of product before by not doing that. And we've got some brown going on. Isn't that interesting? I think that's actually a great look. Actually, let's go in with the transparent iron oxide again, and get some of that in here. Really wild and crazy. Because what I want to see is I want to see that color get into the crevices of that texture. That's the beauty of this process. So. I love that subtle color though. But I feel like we need a little bit more. Let me go in with the raw umber, transparent raw umber ink here and get a little bit of a darker passage here. So we've got a lot of open space, which is different than some of our other designs. So a little bit of water. Let's go ahead and pick this one up and see if we can get that to move a little bit. Oh yeah, there you go. I love getting messy. We're losing a lot of our yellow though. That's kind of a bummer. So what we're going to need to do is we're going to need to come in with some more. So I got it right here. Just going to come in here and there and just see if I can apply some color. I really want that yellow saturation. That's probably a mistake to dip right in there when I've got a fully loaded brush of brown. So we're getting long into the video already, so I'm going to have to speed some things up here, otherwise we'll be here forever. So here is the script one, which I absolutely adore. So let's get some color on here. So this hard line that you're seeing here is because the blue that I chose is very, very pigmented, and it's considered a staining color, but I love that it's muting it out. So we're going to go in with a little bit more of the transparent raw umber and give that a little bit more spice, but I'm not going to go in with more of the blue. I love it how it is. It's really grungy and deep and rich looking. So I do need to kind of move that raw umber around. So you can manipulate it a little bit with your fingers. You just don't want to do too much and make it look, you know, too controlled, in my opinion. But I love this. I think this is a perfect color. It's going to be a little bit muted out for pictures because it's really grungy. It's really grungy, I guess. I feel like I want more of the blue though. So let's get a little bit more in here. Not feeling happy about that. Let's just get a little bit here and there. This is very blue. Very blue. It's all play. Okay, we're going to call this one good. That's really, really a vibrant blue. I'm just going to dab it up a little bit. I don't want it to be too blue because then it doesn't really go with a lot of stuff. So I'm going to turn these. Set this off and I'm going to go on to the next one. I'm going to let you watch for a bit here. Getting an interesting color while I'm adding this transparent raw umber against on top of that raw sienna. I'm actually really liking the look of that, so I'm just going to kind of move it around a little bit and see what I think here. It's kind of different. It's a little bit more opaque, meaning not as transparent, in case you're new to that language. But I like it. So far, I like it. I think it's a good mix. So we're going to call this one good. This is very neutral. It's got a lot of kind of violet pink in it, but I think it's going to still be really, really good. So that's that one. So let's see what's next. I'm glad to only be doing a bit here because I don't have a lot of room here because I'm not stacking them. I'm just laying them flat. So I'm looking over at these and I'm really loving the results, so I'm feeling pretty pleased about it. So let's see what else we would like to do. So I think this one I would like to do with some transparent yellow iron oxide. So this one is a brown, so you can see we might even mix them. So we've got brown and we've got yellow, but it's like a golden yellow. So let's get some water on here. I will go in with some iridescent gold. You guys are probably wondering what I'm thinking about that, but I will go back in with that here in a second. Oh yeah. So I'm really looking for some more neutral stuff here. So let's try the brown here as well. It's kind of an orange brown. It's actually quite pretty. So let's get a little more water on here so we can get that all moving. Sometimes some of the pigments are a little bit thicker and so they don't move as easily as others. So let's get some paint up here. Again, we're going to get some really more neutral papers here. And I had a great question from somebody in the comments, in one of my comments, that asked if my pictures were true to life. So my camera is not great, and so sometimes when I take a picture here in the studio, it doesn't accurately represent the colors in the actual thing. So I do bump it up with a filter in my editing tool that I put a honey filter on it. But it's not really off that much, so we're going to get that new mix again with this raw umber. So grungy and beautiful. Oh my goodness, I have to bring this over. Sorry. Oh my goodness, look at this one. Now I'm looking at this over here. This is stunning. Look at that. I hope the camera's picking it up. It's very, very pink and but grungy pink. Very, very beautiful. I am very happy about how this is going. So we've got this one as well. So it goes like this, I believe, is the direction. So I don't have a whole lot of more colors to go with here. We've got, oh, the indigo. Let's go with the indigo on this one. So I'm just shaking it up. I don't know if this one's been open yet. Well, it has to because it's got the plunger in it. So, okay, let's get some water. Oh, gorgeous color. Indigo, beautiful color. And you know what, it could actually go in with some yellow and we'll get some green. So let's do that. Oh, this is the one that doesn't work. Let's see if I've got another one. I've got Hands of Yellow Medium. This will work the same. This is not a transparent one. I mean, it's transparent, but it's not the epitome of transparent like the other line. So, oh, I always end up going this route, and then these are the ones I can't use, or I struggle to use rather. So, let's get some water in there. Oh, I hope you guys don't mind my oohing and ahhing over my own work. This is absolutely incredible. So I'm gonna pick this up and move it around. Probably going to go in with a little bit more of the blue because that all became very green and yellow without a lot of blue. So I'm going to just kind of move this around a little bit with my fingers. I absolutely love it though. That's absolutely gorgeous. Okay, so I'm going to make sure most of the paper's covered, and I'm just going to go in with this wipe and just dab a little bit and try to disperse and move around a little bit some of that color that's really saturated. Let's move this one. We've got two more. Oh, you know what we should be doing is, let me grab the, no, I don't want to wreck this one. So we do need to do the other little ones. So I was going to try to like splatter. Let me show you what some of these are looking like after I wipe my hands off, because I don't want to transfer a bunch of ink. So like this one, this is that one that we did with the blue, and I love it. It's very neutral. It's very usable in just about anything. And even the yellow and brown one with that kind of Mandela look. So loving it. Okay, so let's do this one. This one's sitting on an edge, so it kind of got this bit of coffee that was stuck, which is okay. So what color do we want to do here? Should we do a muted green? This is the Liquitex Muted series of acrylic inks. Why not? Why not? Let's just play. So good for my soul, you guys. This is what I do when I'm struggling. I love to get messy with mixed media. Oh my gosh, that's so beautiful. Let's get that moving a little bit. But this is still a color that's not as transferable to different journals as other combinations. So Let's use some of the raw umber and see what we get mixed with that. See if we can push that color back a little bit. Almost out. Time to go shopping. There's no store nearby that carries this though. Our Joann's store, pardon my French, sucks. They never have any stock because it's a theft area, and so everything is locked up, and then the inks are not locked up, but they never have any on the shelf. So it's like, I don't even like to go there. I do when they have a big bead sale or something, I do go there, but okay, so let's get a paper towel and see what we can do here, because that's really a lot. Just gonna kind of dab and move that color around a little bit. Oh yeah, this could be used. I like the pouncing because I like the irregular pattern that it creates. Of course, you don't have to do that. This is turning out really beautiful. Again, very, very muted, but a lot more usable than some other color combinations. It almost looks like mold though. I never really quite like that. You know, the spots, but what else can we do here to make this, spruce this up a little bit? Let's bring in some of the iridescent gold fine paint. So I'm going to put a little bit of water on here because we have not introduced this yet. So I'm just going to shake it up really good. I would recommend gloves. This is really messy. Messy work. I love this so much. Yeah. Sometimes I love it when I'm doing it and I don't end up loving it later, but it all works out. So look at that one with the gold. Really beautiful. Very busy, but beautiful. A lot of gold. So we got one more, and then we're going to come back in with some of these and get some gold on them. So what do we want to do with this one? What color was this? This was a yellow ochre. I think we wanted to try the yellow ochre, didn't we? We did the raw sienna, but not the yellow ochre. So let's do that one. So I'm going to spritz this again. Okay, I'm pretty happy with this one as well. So we're going to let it be. Just going to move that out of the way here. Okay. So let's look at what we've got over here. We've got some that need some attention because I haven't done all the little papers yet. But these are looking absolutely amazing. When I look over here to my left, I'm just going to dab a little bit of puddles here. That is creating quite a bit of interesting look. I'm getting some paper towel impressions too, which is kind of pretty, like that. Okay, I love some of these are turning out really, really good. Some of them I wouldn't do another thing with. Others I feel like need something. So I'm going to bring them over. So this is one I feel like needs something. Feels really plain. So what I think I'm going to do is just come in with some iridescent gold fine over the top of the texture. So I need a piece of something to put some paint on. Let me grab some parchment in here. And we need to deal with those small papers too. I'll get back to that. So let me move this over so you guys can see. As always, guys, if the video is too long, you can speed me up to, I think it's 1.5 times the normal speed, and I don't sound terrible. So I do have to take this glove off. I can't do that process with a glove on. So I'm just dipping my fingertip in there, and I'm just going to go over this texture, which is another great way to create some interest. And what's really cool is when I make a copy of this, it shows, like, you can see the gold and you can see the texture. You can see the three-dimensional elements of this, which is really pretty. I want this one to stay kind of simple. So you can see I'm getting a little bit of that gold down on the paper surface, but I don't mind that. I'm just using this as a little bit of an accent. I think what I might do with this one too is sprinkle it or splatter it with a little bit of gold just to finish it off. Let's do that. Let me grab a splatter brush, or I like a fan brush. Let me see if I can find one easily here. Of course, it's never where you think it is. Oh, for Pete's sake, where is the splatter brush? Can't see it, so I'm not going to keep you guys. So let me just grab a small brush. See if we can make this happen. So I'm going to dip this in my water. Actually, let's dip it in the water just to get a little bit of water here. And I'm going to splatter this. Hopefully it's going to work. Look at that. The pictures will tell at the end, guys. It's kind of hard to see on my webcam. It doesn't translate color very well. So let's see what else we need to do. I need to put another glove on. Got to speed through this. We're almost an hour in here. That's without cuts, but still long. So I've got to reach over here. I've got some standing water on one of my papers. I'm going to try to get rid of that river of liquid. Everything else is looking really, really great though. Oh my goodness, so pretty. So pretty. So I want to show you this one with the butterfly. Look at this. I don't think this one needs anything. I feel like it needs a little bit more brown. We've got a lot of an orangish brown here, so I am going to come in with a little bit of my raw umber, a transparent raw umber. This is literally my favorite mixed media color, is raw umber. Okay, so let's just get some more brown in here. I just feel like it's a little bit too... I'm not a big fan of the orangish brown, just to be completely transparent. I much prefer the darker color, although I think that orange is a good accent, so I don't want it to go away. But I'm going to spritz this again. See if we can get that moving a little bit. Yeah, that's better. I think we've got a lot of excess on here. So I think I'm going to, I need one more little bit over here. And I think I'm going to dip something else in it. So I've got this one over here. So I'm just going to lay it on here and just give it a little pat. See what we get. Not a lot. Got a lot of excess. So I just want a little bit of color on here. I don't really care that it's super vibrant. So that's good for that one. And I feel better about this one, so I'm going to move it. I just moved something into your way. I'm sorry. Here's your home. There we go. Love it. Okay, so let's pull up over this one. I may do some more finessing on these off camera. I love this one the way it is, but I feel like it needs some splatters of coffee. Let me grab another brush. I just feel like the area around it is pretty plain and I don't like that. So let's just get this kind of modeled up here. I love that yellow though, so beautiful. Okay, let's put you back in your home. And then let's pull this one over. I don't think I can really get some iridescent gold fine paint in there because the texture's not very very obvious. So I think I'm going to leave this one. I might come in with some wax on that one off camera. And let me show you some of the other ones because I think we're going to be done. I need to do something with these, but I think I'll do them off camera. This one already has some coffee on it. They all have coffee on them, so they might be just fine like they are. But I think I'll fiddle with those off camera. But I just wanted to show you, this is the U.S. Art Supply texture paste, and it is just as good as the more expensive Liquitex. Now, I looked at it online. It's only about, the Liquitex is only about $6 more than the U.S. Art Supply. So if you can flip the $6, I would recommend it because there is a difference in my view, because the predictability of the Liquitex modeling paste is there. But I also know, as I showed in a previous video, that you can use just a spackle. I used a spackle and it was like amazing. And I know some of you that are following along are going to be doing this project. You bought the spackle, so it will totally work. So I think what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to say goodbye, and you'll be able to see the photos at the end of everything as it ended up. If I add anything to anything, I will disclose that in a text on the screen towards the end or at whatever point in the video that seems appropriate. So I will see you in the next video. Take care. Bye-bye.